Okay, got a new camera to make videos with. Can move it around a little bit better. Uh, I will do that after this in the next couple of videos, but right now, we'll just leave it as it is. Looks like the Trumpster signed that the stimulus bill. I don't know what his purpose was. He knew he wasn't going to get away with it. You knew he's going to have to do something. And like I said, the Republicans are against the $2,000 stimulus, and I think the purpose of them being against it is they don't want new taxes, because they know the taxes will come after big business and rich people, and they know that they're not going to, they can't squeeze the little people much more than they already are. So it doesn't look like that what is going to happen that way. So, and you got to get the money from someplace. It just has to happen. All right, so. But he's never made a good deal in his life. His way of making a good deal is what he's doing to the United States government right now. He's leaving a position of authority and chaos. He's done that with every business he's owned. He's never been what can be considered he's a success because he manipulates money. He gets people's money, and because some of his rich friends make money with him. But the average I know 3 or 4 construction guys down in Atlantic City that will tell you, if you can find them, because they went out of business because of not getting paid by that schmuck. So, who knows there. We got a few days left for dealing with him. He'll probably pardon himself. I don't think he can pardon himself, because if I'm not mistaken, to get a pardon, you have to be accused or convicted of a crime. I don't think you can pardon yourself for crimes in the future. In other words, he hasn't been indicted for anything. There are no indictments issued. There's some investigations going on. But you can't stop an investigation with a pardon. That's not going to stop it. That's going to continue going. Like I said, I just don't think you can pardon yourself for crimes you haven't really been indicted for yet, or they're accused of yet. Maybe some of the stuff, maybe the obstruction of justice, he can get off the hook for. I don't think they're going to go after him for that. I don't think they're going to go after him for anything. I think they want him gone. I think the Republicans secretly want him gone. He's going to be where he wanted to be in the first place. He wanted to be on the sidelines, making all these accusations, doing all this bullshit that disrupts things. He doesn't want to be the man in charge. He doesn't want to have to sit there and say, "Oh, I'm the guy, I'm the boss," because the buck stops with the boss. He doesn't want to accept the blame for anything. And when you look back at his record, it's not going to be so much what he did, and he did plenty, but they're really going to come out. His record's going to really reflect what he didn't do. And you can do more damage sometimes by not doing anything than you can by doing something. He's not a crisis manager. He's a crisis escapist. He will do whatever he has to get out of a situation. He won't try to solve it. His way of solving it is to escape. Blame so-and-so and run like hell. And it's worked for him. And and people suffer, but he doesn't care. That's just the way he is. He has no empathy for anybody, and he doesn't really care. But like I said, in this particular case, history will criticize him and crucify him, not so much for some of the things he's done, but for what he hasn't done, the things he hasn't said, the positions he hasn't taken, as opposed to, something he did. I mean, sure, they'll criticize him for things about the EPA and stuff like that, but it's what he didn't do. Like the virus, of course, is the biggest thing. He didn't do anything. He doesn't really do anything about racial issues. He doesn't do anything about uh, the discomfort this country was feeling because of racism. He did nothing. He basically did nothing. There was thousands of things he could. There was a few things he could have done. I would say thousands of things. I'm not that brilliant to know what they all are. But there are a few things he could have done. That would have helped people deal with the situation, um, help cities deal with the situations that were going on. But he didn't know what side to take. He took what was. He says he basically took positions that were popular with his supporters, and I don't know what his supporters look like, because I'll tell you the truth. I've gone over some videos of some of his rallies and whatnot, and I see in the background, the ones sitting behind him, I see the same people all the time. So I don't know whether he's got vans that bring these people into these rallies, and he's paying these people to show up. I mean, and then of course then it takes over, which it did. It took over. There were other people showing up at the rallies and whatnot. But the Beatles did that. They paid 500 people to show up at places they were at. That started a trend, with people doing that. And then after they got the people saw that and they wanted to be part of that. People want to be part of that scene, so they show up, and then they didn't have to pay anybody anymore. You had thousands of people showing up, not 500. You had thousands of people. It was a great investment in the beginning. I wish I could stop saying but I'm having trouble getting my thoughts together. Maybe I should have thought this through a little further before I started talking. But the COVID situation, here's one interesting fact, that they promised that by the end of the year there'd be 20 million vaccinations. There are 2 million vaccinations, and if I'm correct, there's less than 3 days left in the year. So I don't think they're going to make their 20 million. I think it's going to take a lot longer than people think it is. And you have to remember, you get that first shot, you don't throw your mask in the garbage and start dancing naked in the street. This isn't the end of World War II or something like that. You have to wait 28 days to get another shot, and then you have to make sure that I don't know how long after that, but before they'll tell you that it's fully effective after that second shot. And also, what they're doing, you have to understand too, now they're testing these vaccines to see if they're effective against the new strain. The new strain is more contagious. And if this vaccine doesn't work, shit, we're screwed. Because people aren't listening to the doctors, they aren't listening to the politicians, they aren't listening to anybody. You have all the religious groups trying to get the restrictions on occupancy of their churches, temples, and mosques and whatnot removed, and that's not because they want to help people come in and have them pray for the soul. They want them to come in and leave money. I'm sorry. This country isn't democratic. It's based solely on greed, and we'll cover that in another video at another time when maybe I can get some thoughts that actually make sense there. And I'm not rambling all over the place. But the issue of the virus isn't going to go away in 6 months or maybe a year. Normalcy, it depends what you consider normalcy. I've read statements from various physicians and experts that say the guy that discovered Ebola in Africa says there's a whole lot more bad shit running around over there, and I believe him. There's cures for everything in the jungle, but there's also a lot of disease in the jungle. I mean, there's three kind. There's a bunch of different types of plants when you walk in the jungle, especially in South America, down here where I live, and there's still a lot of area down here that really hasn't been thoroughly explored. But in the Amazon, but you have those that look pretty and are harmless, those that look pretty and can kill you, and those that look pretty and can save your life. I mean, that's pretty much the extent of the vegetation down here, there's supposedly they believe there are scientists that believe there's a cure for cancer. I am not so sure about that. I think that's another story I'll get into, but I don't think that there's a plant that can cure cancer because of cancer is not genetically one disease. It's different in everybody, reacts differently to everybody. You know, you have the person that's walking down the street. You have, I'll give you an example. There's a TV show, Dr. Jeff Young, Rocky Mountain vet, and this is Dr. Young is a vet. I think he's had cancer 3 or 4 times or something like that, lymphoma, and he's beaten it 3 or 4 times. I mean, through chemotherapy and everything, he's beaten it. Well, there's one of him, and there's 10 people that had the same thing and died. You know, did the same treatment, same plan, same diet, same everything, and died. It depends. You know, it's like a tornado. You know what? Nobody knows where a tornado is going to strike. Nobody knows how cancer is going to react inside a human body. You know. Well, listen, it's a Monday night. Yeah, I know there's Monday Night Football. I don't really care right now. You know, I wait for the playoffs. Playoffs are usually the best games. Occasionally, you get a really great Super Bowl out of it, but the playoffs are usually where all the action is. I've seen some great games leading up to it. There's some very good games this weekend. You know, so it's difficult. You know, football wise, to say what I'm going to do, but anyhow. I'm thinking about starting another book. I wrote 6 books. They weren't very good. The stories are good. They're not edited properly. People don't want to read them, and you know that's fine with me. I did it to keep my sanity, just like I'm doing this. I do this to keep my sanity. That may sound like a cliche or something, but yeah, I you know, helps my mind stay alive and active if I have to think about something. You saw some of my work. Oh, if you went to Facebook, I put a lot of my work up there. I do things like this right now because I have, it goes this way. I have like a carpal tunnel syndrome in my left hand, so it's very difficult for me to hold things in my left hand. And when you carve, you have to hold in your left hand, or sometimes you're using both of them. And so I don't do too much carving anymore. I have some things I want to do. I did some bunch of Santa Clauses. I don't know. You can see it. You can see some of them up here. I won't show you the close-ups because they're horrible, but they're done on sticks. I find and stuff. I do stuff like that. You know, I don't. You know, I do small scale. I do small scale wood burning projects. This is my favorite. This is actually a likeness of. Can you see that right there? This is a likeness of Antonia. You know, the goofy labradoodle that I own. I don't know. She lives with me. She graces herself. She graces me with her presence. You know. When she's hungry or she wants to go out, the rest of the time she's with my wife. They're in the living room right now. All right, so I'm gonna take off for now, and I hope you enjoy our little talks. And I'll be back maybe tomorrow. Who knows?